Let me first ask about China. How important is this market for you, and when do you expect it to pick up?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much for having me again. Yeah, China is, I would call it, our second home market. We all know the market slowed down substantially beginning in the middle of last year, and the first quarter 2019 has been pretty much a copy of what we've seen in 2018. I think everybody, including ourselves, is a bit more optimistic for the second half. So very best case scenario for the full calendar year is probably to be on par with the volume for 2018. I think we all will learn in the next 2-3 months what impact the VAT reduction will have. We are currently outperforming the market in a declining market that clearly speaks for the strength of our brands. That's one issue, and we have more SUV products in the marketplace, which is certainly also going to help in China.
What about the possibility of a trade agreement between the U.S. and China? How important is that to you? You don't produce a ton of cars in the U.S., but I'm expecting any trade agreement would help you sell more in China nonetheless.
I think we are not exporting as a company from the United States to China, but overall, I think for the business climate, it is important to have very stable and predictable trade conditions, whether it pertains to the United States and China or to the United States and Europe. So every progress being made is welcomed, even though we are not directly impacted when you refer to the United States and China directly.
Do you expect to be producing more cars in the U.S., Frank? Are you going to enlarge your footprint in America or in North America?
No, I think we clearly are determined to invest in the United States. We have capacity in Chattanooga. We are going to produce electric vehicles in the United States. The market overall is tremendously important to us, and particularly as we address Volkswagen passenger cars. We are currently a niche player, and we are ambitious to grow there, but certainly in an orderly manner. We have a job to be done. We are not at break even for Volkswagen passenger cars, and this is the target at the very latest for 2020. Audi and Porsche are doing very well, even though the market certainly is very competitive.
What about giving yourself a bigger footprint in China? I mean, now would seem like the right time to up your stakes in joint ventures there, SAIC and FAW. Do you see that on the horizon?
I think obviously the framework conditions have changed. Strategically, we are discussing different options. But at this very point of time, our focus is to work very closely on our footprint in China with our local partners. We have established relationships with FAW and SAIC. We are going to build more cars in the third joint venture with JAC. We are having, strategically, we could think of it, but this is not a very immediate concern and project we are working on. But strategically, obviously, the government changed the rules. For the very moment, focus is on operations, increasing our footprint, and for the last 9 months, the strengths in particular of Volkswagen and Audi and Porsche, we had the opportunity to gain market share.
What about the drop in sales at Audi and Porsche? These are such profitable, important parts of the business that you do. Why did you see the drop, and when will we see that bounce back?
I think exactly what we planned is happening. We knew that the first half for both brands would be impacted by WLTP in particular, but also the cycle of new models and facelifts. So that is no surprise for us. For the full year, we will be okay on both brands. In particularly Porsche, we educated the capital markets quite early that Audi has some incremental homework in terms of boosting profitability and efficiency to do. But overall, we knew exactly that the first half would tend to be a bit weaker, and the first quarter shaped out exactly the way both brands predicted it.
One of the things that boosting profitability and efficiency would do, combined with moving to electric cars, Frank, is reduce the headcount needed to make these products. how much headcount reduction do you see for Volkswagen, in Germany, for example?
I mean, you know that we have the Future Pact, which basically determined a 23,000 overall headcount reduction number for the brand. We also committed to reinvest 9,000 jobs into future fields of business. This is what's currently in the mix. We all know that the transition to more electric vehicles will put pressure on the total of number of people we need at in the direct labor area. But it doesn't make any sense to speculate. First of all, we need to bring the MEB and the respective products to market. Then we will learn in the concrete factories how much progress is to be made. For the time being, we have a plan and we're executing it. Everything else at this point of time is speculation and doesn't help anybody. But we also know that the digitalization will basically impact the entire business we are doing. And therefore, I think we all together share the view that we need to get our act together in terms of efficiency and productivity, and that's what we are committed to.
In terms of executing on plans, investors have been waiting for you to unlock some value from the trucks division. When are we going to see that IPO go forward?
I mean, the earlier the better. We all knew that the market conditions have deteriorated the last couple of weeks and months. Actually, the market did a little better. We said after the unfortunate decision we had to make that we are assessing the situation continuously, and this is what we are doing. But there is no date or concrete date I could talk about. But what we said is absolutely true. First of all, the IPO is still a desired outcome. And secondly, we continue to execute the global champion strategy of the TRATON Group. And this is what we are sticking to.
Frank, analysts have long said you can unlock a lot more value out of your sports car units, Porsche especially, but also Lamborghini and the motorcycle maker Ducati. Are you restructuring the group in order to be able to do that?
I think our CEO gave a clear indication at the latest venues that unlocking value is a top priority for this administration. We have a number of ideas, but we are well advised to discuss those first internally and then communicate to the world once decisions are being made. But it is very obvious that we all together share the view that the company is tremendously undervalued at this point of time, and it is our job as a management to come up with the right conclusions. On the other hand, let me point it out, when we talk about passenger car brands, it's tremendously important that we are able to share the synergies to the greatest extent possible. I think we all agree that we have room to improve. But for the time being, this is the focus. But stay tuned. We are working on ideas, but there's nothing to announce today.